I stay focused by blocking out the world. Too many complications with the modern day girl. I'd rather stack money taking trips around the world. Part introvert, an expert at lifting skirts. I stay low key, but when I stunt, I can make it hurt. I go berserk within the girl. Today's lecture is going to be men that cannot handle their emotions. And it's not okay with that. All right? And a lot of you guys are wondering, how do I get in control of my emotions? How do I stop being so sentimental? I'm going to give you some diet things to think about. For one, you got to stop eating sugar. You got to stop eating chocolate. You got to stop eating fatty foods. I'm going to start off there. Fatty foods would make you very emotional. Next, you need to get in the gym. You got to find a way to channel your anger. You have to find a way to get that stress off your back. The more masculine things that you do, the more self-control you're going to have. Your reason why a lot of you guys are weak, to be honest with you, is because you don't know where you want to go in life. When you know where you want to go in life, it requires you to have a certain type of energy, and it requires you to have a certain type of focus in order to achieve that dream, that you don't have time to really pay attention to anything else. You know what I'm saying? I said a story back a couple weeks ago while I was talking to a woman, and she was talking to me about my channel and women. And I told her, I was like, you have all day to talk about my channel and women. The day that you got married, what happened that day? And she says, I don't know, because I was getting married. I said, exactly. When somebody chases a dream, when they wake up every day, you don't know what's going to happen that day because all you're focused on is your dream. When you learn to focus on your dream, you're only going to be emotional about what happens in your dream. Think about us content creators. It's hard for us to get emotional to everybody in the comments because we have to constantly be creating content in order for you to watch and learn from. Granted, my content's a little different. I have to do a lot of researching. I have to do a lot of reading, even though I have the knowledge there. But as long as I'm always focused on something, then I don't have time to be distracted with someone else. That's why I said, like, when you look at these protests out here, these are people that have nothing else to do with their life. Everyone that has a job, that runs a business, they don't have time to get out there and protest because they got to get back to reality. See, when you have a dream, that's going to keep you from being distracted to everybody else. That's one of the keys to keep you from being so emotional. Hold on, let me make some room. All right, and I just want everyone to think about that. Bro life, good luck, bro. Sorry I was late on that. All right. Next, we're gonna start off with the first thing. Most of you guys don't think, you just react. That's something that you have to understand now. If someone doesn't agree with you, then you have a tendency to just get mad or not want to talk to them anymore. All right? It's like, oh, I don't agree with Anthony's video. Oh, I'm just going to block them all together. I'm just going to unsubscribe. Now we have that cancer culture. They'll cancel you. That's that herd mindset. You know what I'm saying? This is how they're able to get a group of people together all the time, is because we're living in a world where everyone has a herd mindset. And people have a herd mindset because they're very emotional about everything. All right? So you got to learn to get away from the herd. As a Sigma, you should not even be worried about joining the herd. You should be more focused on your dream. So understand, learn not to lash out. Whenever you feel like you're mad at somebody, but you're overly mad for no reason, that's what women do. That's what the estrogen does. When you find yourself getting very quick, stop, breathe 10 times. Breathe before you make a reaction. Too many of you guys are just moving off emotion. You can't do that. You've taken on the spirit of a woman, and it's going to crush you in the end. All right? Next. Men nowadays don't care about other people's feelings. All right? That's whole shit. See, women do that when they get mad. That's why, like, when you argue with a woman, the first thing that she knows how to do is tell you some insecure shit that she knows that you're insecure about. You dig it? Hold on 1 second. Okay, that's what women do. When women get mad, they cut below the belt. You know what I'm saying? They know how to tell you things that you don't want nobody, or they can see your little insecurities and they bring them to the forefront. Like a lot of women would look at my videos and be like, Anthony, you've been hurt before, or Anthony, you've been this, Anthony, you've been that. But when I don't respond, they don't know what to do. But they're just, oh, it's true because you didn't say anything, because they want you to react a certain way. All right, that's whole shit. A lot of you guys are doing that. A lot of you guys in the comment section, not just on my channel, but you and other people's channels, that you got to say little things that you know they don't want to hear just to get a reaction so you get some attention. You guys are doing whole shit. That's what women do. Big shout out to Gerard. That's whole shit. Y'all got to watch that. All right, next. Everything is cool as long as things remain superficial. All right? What I mean by that is, as long as you can predict everything that's going to happen, you're okay with it. But as soon as something don't go your way, now all of a sudden, you don't even want to be involved. And the reason for that is, not only have you become weak, but you're a narcissist to everything. All right? That means that only things in your life matter within that bubble. The best way to fix that, truthfully, is you got to broaden your horizons. I tell people all the time, the more different people you talk to, the more different lifestyles you're able to stop and learn. Even just TV shows on TV. Try not watching the same stuff every day. Try switching it up. Like with me, I picked up a television show that did 100 questions to 100 different people to see how they react to it. It's something I wouldn't typically watch, but I watched it anyways. I remember sitting down watching a whole series of like a gold mining show, something I've never even done before, but I learned a lot from it. That's what a lot of you guys have to do to keep from being emotional, is you have to be smart. You got to realize, only a dumb person who lacking knowledge don't know how to think their way out of something. So if you're being too emotional, you have to start getting smarter and smarter and smarter. The smarter you become, the easier it is for you to be by yourself, but also the easier it is for you to stop and analyze what's been said to you, what's been done to you, and analyze the environment. You know what I'm saying? That's another way to keep you from being so superficial about things. All right? Hold on 1 second. Let me go through my slides here. All right. Next. You guys have low self-awareness. All right? When I say low self-awareness, thank you, Germano. Big shout outs. Really appreciate it, bro. When I say low self-awareness, you don't know that much about yourself. You don't know what your favorite colors are. You don't know what you like. You don't know what you want to eat. You're constantly changing things over. If you got to wake up and make sure that your outfit that you have on is something you haven't worn in a week or two, then that's whole shit. That's what women do. You're weak because you're putting your emotions into the mind of someone else. All right? The best thing for you to do is to learn yourself. Learn exactly what makes you happy, what makes you smile, what makes you cry. Like, for instance, I never liked working with anybody, ever in my life. I never. So I had to work harder at trying to run businesses. I had to stay up later. I had to take more risks. I bit my nails more. I stayed up stressing more. But it worked out in the end when you learn that it works. It works out in the end when you learn yourself from it. In a lot of cases, the only way for you to learn yourself is to separate from everybody. You ain't got to separate from everybody for years at a time, but you got to at least spend a couple weeks by yourself, just with the phone off. I don't care if you got to unsubscribe from my channel. You're going to have to learn to put that phone down so you can find yourself, so you don't constantly be intaking subconscious thinking. That's going to slow you down. All right? Next, men struggle to express their feelings and their emotions, which is true. I think a lot of guys out there doing it. But what you have to understand is you want somebody to be emotional with you. That's all you're doing. You want to sit around and you want to complain to somebody about your issues, and then they be emotional with you, and then they tell their story, you tell your story. They tell their story, you tell. That's called trauma bonding. Both of you have been through traumatic situations. So you take turns telling each other stories, what you've been through, and that starts to bond you and the next person together. All right? A lot of men are doing that, especially in the MGTOW and red pill community. All right? The manosphere is designed for you to vent to other men that have been through that. Granted, it is. So, could this just be a jagged-edged sword with this? Yes. And the reason why I say it is because you're only supposed to red pill rage at the beginning. But after that, you got to learn to disconnect yourself. Even if you got to disconnect yourself from the manosphere. Because your reality is different than somebody else's reality. Like, for instance, we just spent a whole month of protesting, right? For police brutality. A whole month. But guess what? There's a mother out there who had 3 sons and lost all 3 of her sons on 3 separate years to gun violence from another black man, right? She wasn't thinking about police brutality because her children were killed by another black man. So her reality was different than the people at the protest because she went through different events in her life. That's why I said most people at the protest never even had a confrontation with police. But you have someone else who believes in the protest, but they didn't indulge into it because their reality was, my son wasn't gunned down by police. It was gunned down by a black man. All right? Now, where did that transition? It transitions like that in your life. What one person's pain and reality went through may not be the same as yours. So you can't expect to tell your problem to somebody else, right? And they fully understand you. No, they just want you to be there to guide them the same way you there to comfort them. All right? That's going to hold you back. In a lot of cases, you got to go take that walk by yourself when you're feeling pain. You got to go run by yourself. You may have to go punch a wall by yourself. You may have to just take a baseball bat and keep hitting a tree by yourself. You may have to do these little things to make you stronger. Pain is nothing but weakness leaving the body. Think about it. When you was a little beta male, you were weak, naive, women ran all over you. You didn't know where you were going. But the more red pill you gain, the more confidence you start learning, the more women you start learning about. Now you're starting to patch all these things together. Now you're actually starting to feel better about yourself. You're getting stronger because you're gaining knowledge. But you're only going to gain that knowledge when you're by yourself. When you're doing them semen retentions, you're going to get stronger. It's going to bring your masculinity back. Next, crying like children. All right? Crying like children. Men have to stop this. Really have to stop all this crying. I have seen more clips of men crying than anything. How do a man stop from crying? It's recognizing where your weakness has really came from. Get to the core of it. What has made you weak? In a lot of cases, in most cases, it's your mom. Surrounded by all your female cousins. Surrounded by grandmas and aunties. That's what's making you weaker. You've been around the spirit of too many women that you're not dating. That's what a lot of guys don't understand. A lot of these guys will look at me and be like, oh man, you don't respect women. No, I respect women. I don't like hoes. Period. Like, let's get, like we're going to talk about it. Let's talk about it. I respect women to the fullest. I don't like hoes. I don't like succubus. I don't like Jezebels. I don't like women that are totally outside of what a man has been taught a woman is supposed to be. I'm not one of these dudes that's going to go with the agenda, which is why a lot of you guys have to understand the agenda. The agendas that have been pushed to cause you to be weak. You must understand that now. And that's going to help fix your crying. It's when you can look in the mirror while you're crying. That's what you have to do. The next time one of you guys want to cry, look in the mirror while you're crying and watch how much you are embarrassed to yourself. A lot of guys just don't understand. You're crying, but you're scared. You're in the corner. You're riding around. You're doing everything but looking at yourself in the mirror whenever you cry to see yourself weak. Have you ever even looked at yourself as being weak? No. You're scared to fear. You're scared to look at yourself. Looking at yourself when you're at your most vulnerable stage will strengthen you as a man. All right? Next. You guys do not know how to communicate. You only know how to yell and scream. Once again, that's a female trait. You gotta stop lashing and screaming like women. All right? Communication with a man should be slow when it comes to a woman. Because 9 times out of 10, a woman's ready to think faster than a man. You have to understand that. Women think faster than men, but they're not logical like men. So if you think too slow with a woman, she could gain power over you. But as a man, what you got to learn to do, you got to learn to step back a little bit. All right? With your communication. You have to learn when someone's going up, you have to go down. And you have to stay down. For majority of the time, a man should never really be going up. Big shout out to Joseph. Everybody hit the like button. A man's temper should never be always uprising. Should never. It should always be staying steady, especially when you're dealing with a woman. Like with me, when it comes to women, I don't do too much screaming and yelling. 9 times out of 10, when I see them going up, I can stop. Wait for them to stop. But if they get irate, I could walk away from it. Sometimes you got to know when to walk away. But a lot of you guys, being that you've been around your mom so long, your auntie, you lash out the same way they do. When they get loud, you got to get louder. We got to bring the masculinity back. In order to bring the masculinity back, you got to look at yourself in the mirror. You got to start pointing these things out. All right? Work on your communication, on how you talk. All right? That says a lot about you. Because a lot of these guys, right, you know what? I read a man's knowledge of women based off of how he talks. All right? That's why I look at a lot of these dating coaches and these red pill coaches and I say to myself, these guys are not red pill and they don't really know that much about women. You can tell by the tone in their voice. All right? Next. Trolling. All right? A lot of you guys are trolling. The reason why you're trolling is because you need attention. All right? Trolling is a weak man's sign. Trolling is a no-no. You should not be out here trolling whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, but if anybody's looking to chat with me live, go ahead. The links are in the description. You guys can start coming in now. If you go to the description, it says StreamYard. Click on that, type in your name, and press enter, and you'll come up, and I'll see who's here. All right. Trolling. All right? You got to get away from the trolling because a lot of you guys, that's all you do all day. You go from the comment sections to comment sections doing nothing but trolling. You have to stop that. Big shout outs, bro. Black women on first 48. Lost 2 sons of 8 by 2 and she was proud of her sons for being loyal. Sad, bro. Real virtue. Good luck. Good luck, bro. All right, trolling. Thank you. Trolling. You must eliminate trolling, and you have to find another way to generate your energy. The problem that a lot of you guys are going through right now is that the internet has complete control over your brain just like a woman. Hold on.
Yeah, I just talked here.
Hold on, bro. Hey, get some headphones.
Yeah.
All right, I got some people coming in now.
But take them up there.
All right, hold on. All right, let me bring you in.
How it is.
All right, you there, bro? What's going on?
Yeah, don't fill your stomach.
Player preacher. Chris, what's going on, bro? Chris,
Yo, bro.
what's going on?
What's up, bro?